Hello, English 102. Sorry I'm not with you in the classroom, but we're going to make the best of the situation. So let's get started. For this video, I would like you to refer to the course calendar, week 10, and also to this handout that I gave you about a month ago. Sorry, the letters are in reverse, but it's arguing a position. We'll be referring to this during this video, and you will need it for the entire project. Okay, so we're in week 10, and you'll note on your calendar that I want you to read and annotate Etzioni's article, Working at McDonald's. It's the first essay in your handout. Now we want to do a close read, a careful read. We want to underline or highlight any words that we're not familiar with, any concepts we're not familiar with. Then I want you to look those up and note them on your essay. Please identify the thesis or the claim. And you're saying, well, what's a claim? Well, a claim is the term we use to describe the thesis in an argument. Okay, so now you're going to study the structure and organization of this essay. Not just the content, all right? Content's important, but for our purpose, we need to know the structure and the organization. And I've made little notations in the margins of your copy, and I've noted arguments, counter-arguments, refutations, concessions. And so I want you to study that and make sure you understand what those little notations are referring to. The fifth thing I would like you to do with this essay is do an at-home writing. You know, we usually do an in-class writing. Well, this is an at-home writing. And I'd like you to find a quiet place where you won't be interrupted, and I'd like you to write for 15 minutes. And before you write, though, I'd like you to extract 2 or 3 points that you agree with. And then I would like you to address 2 or 3 points that you disagree with. Set this paper aside for 12 or 24 hours, and then I want you to go back and revise it, type it MLA format. This, too, is a portfolio item. Okay, now I want you to get into small groups. We're not in the classroom, so you're going to have to email or text or call a class member. It could be a friend, a family member who wants to help you, but they will need to read the essay, Working at McDonald's, in order to help you. So together, in your small group work, you're going to reread Etzioni's essay, Working at McDonald's. Then on page 2 of this handout, there is a list of 10 questions. And I would like you to address those. Answer your questions in complete sentences. Include the question in your answer, always MLA. And this, too, is a portfolio item. Okay, the third thing you're going to do on Monday is you're going to answer this question. What do you feel strongly about? Well, you're not sure. So to find out what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you want to argue, you're going to do some clustering and free write to discover what you're really thinking. And when you finally come upon a topic, I don't want you to worry about what other people will think. Don't imagine the criticism. Just think to yourself, this is my position. This is what I want to argue. And do so with confidence. Now, I would like you to cluster and free write until you have 2 or 3 possible topics, because you have to run those topics past me for approval. And it's usually easy to get approval, but sometimes the topic doesn't have enough research, or maybe it's been overworked, or maybe I can tell you're not that enthused about it. So this is our final project. We need to be able to carry enthusiasm and a lot of good energy that will sustain us through the remainder of the semester. So we will always want to have one kind of favorite topic and then maybe a couple backups just in case that first topic didn't work out. This is also a portfolio item, your clustering and free writing, but it does not need to be typed. Now, unless you did your clustering and free writing, on the computer, that's different. But I don't want you to take all that messy stuff and try to create order from it. I want to see your process of creativity, right? Because when we cluster and free write, we're tapping into that creative side of our brain that we often ignore. And so I just want evidence of that creativity. Okay, Wednesday's assignment. I would like you to read and annotate Christopher Columbus, Dead White Male. It's a very provocative essay. Again, look up those unfamiliar words and figure out during the next 3 or 4 weeks, how am I going to use those unfamiliar words in my argument essay? Then I would like you to identify the thesis or the claim in Christopher Columbus, Dead White Male. Now, I would like you to identify, this is going to be tricky, it's going to take more time. It's a more complex task. I want you to identify the arguments, the counter-arguments, the refutations, and the concessions. That's tricky. And you're saying, okay, I know what an argument is. You do. It's your position. And then a counter-argument is, well, what does the guy next door say? How would he say it? And he doesn't agree with me. So that's a counter-argument. A refutation is how you address that guy next door. What do you say? What facts? What logic do you weave into your argument to refute his counter-argument? And then we have concessions, which are lovely little, kind of like you surrender a point. And that shows that you're a reasonable person, that you appreciate the other person's viewpoint and perception. Okay, so identifying those arguments, counter-arguments, refutations, and concessions, that's going to take time. So get a study buddy, get someone to work with you, and put your heads together. It'll make it more fun. Number 5, create a scratch outline of the essay. Make sure it's typed and allay and use bullets. This also is a portfolio item. Now remember, a scratch outline, we don't use Roman numeral 1 and 2, capital A, B, and C. We just put the thesis or the claim at the top of the page, and then we list all of these elements, the arguments, the counter-arguments, the refutations, and the concessions. And you have to give a few details because you have to prove to me that you know what you're talking about. Okay, also on Wednesday, I want you to consider your topic. Maybe you're still sitting on the fence. Maybe you procrastinated the clustering and the free write. But it's very important that you do this because it's critical that you all have a topic or 2 or 3 when we come back to school on March 23rd. So cluster and free write to discover your topic. And let's say you have your topic and then you've got a couple of backup topics. Next, I want you to do a little preliminary research. You don't have to go to the library. You just pull up your NCC library page and you can look up some specialized encyclopedias. You can look up opposing viewpoints. Anything that would give you information about your topic. And I'd also like you to interview an expert. This isn't mandatory, but it's an option that will really enrich your paper and your knowledge base. And I'll give you an example. Say that you are pro-gun control, and so you've done a lot of research, and but you're thinking, Mrs. Brundage wants me to do an interview. So your neighbor next door is a cop. Maybe works for the FBI. You go, okay, I'm going to interview him and ask him some interview questions that I have prepared. I know how to do that. And then I want you to, whatever his position is, maybe find somebody that has the opposite viewpoint. That's really going to help you write an incredibly strong paper. Okay, it's important, again, to research all sides of an issue. It shows that you are serious about your research. It shows that you're a fair-minded person. And you aren't alienating Your audience, when you look at all sides of an issue, you are including more people, and they will appreciate your position. Remember, our job is to help each other appreciate our position, not necessarily convert them, but we need to appreciate each other's viewpoints, positions, so that we can come in the middle and make compromise. So remember that your research notes are a portfolio item. Now everyone's notes are going to look different. Some of you are just going to write down maybe some statistics, maybe a quote, and then you'll make a note of where you got that information so you can include it on your Works Cited page. Some of you are going to be completely electronic. I would suggest doing a mix, but I will need to see a copy of one of your electronic sources. So just print out one and tell me where you got it, and make a note so that I can see how you're doing your research. It's very important that we take good notes, that we annotate and highlight the work that we are taking our research from. We don't want to plagiarize, and so it's very important to be very careful, very fastidious with our note taking. And our research notes are also a portfolio item. Questions. Of course, you've got a few questions. If you do have questions about the assignments for week 10, please send me an email through Canvas. And stay focused on just Monday's assignments. And then after you complete Monday's assignments, focus on Wednesdays. And after you complete Wednesdays, you will have a very clear idea of where we're going with this assignment. You'll know about organization. You will know about arguments, counter-arguments, refutations, and concessions. You will know about documenting, that this paper is based on research and logic. Okay, so also during this week, I would really encourage you to collaborate with your classmates through email, texting, or phone. Make this a fun and productive week. Okay, I miss your wonderfully smiling faces and the little interchanges that we have in the classroom. But let's make this work and get everything done to the best of your ability. And remember, I'm available to answer your questions on Canvas. Bye-bye.